Hello there, and welcome to Grounded Health and Wellness YouTube channel. My name is Kate, and today I wanted to give you a quick tip on how to get quick relief for low back pain. So, what most people don't really consider when they are experiencing issues with the back, specifically the low back, pain or the trouble rather is coming from tight hamstrings, not necessarily from anything specific to the back. Now, I'm not talking about people that have conditions with herniated discs, or perhaps you've had a injury or you've undergone surgery on the spine. That's a different scenario altogether. I'm talking about more generalized low back pain when you haven't suffered a trauma to the back area at all. More often than not, this relates to tight hamstrings. I can tell you after years of teaching yoga students in studio, online, and privately, that tight hamstrings are a very common issue. And mostly it's because our modern day way of living doesn't give us a chance to really stretch those out. A lot of the time we are sedentary or we are seated a lot, or the exercise that we are doing might be repetitive in nature, which actually just creates more tightness in the muscles. So, for walking, running, hiking, maybe even performing lunges and things like that, we're continually creating more tightness in those hamstrings specifically. So, I wanted to give you a couple options to just practice at home to help give you some quick relief for that because it is really quite straightforward. So the first is utilizing a strap. If you have a yoga strap, great. If you don't, also great. You can use a bathrobe belt or a regular belt or even a long tea towel or a sock that is stretchy. You basically just need something that is long enough for you to loop the strap around the sole of your foot and that your arms are still settled in their sockets and when they're outstretched. So we don't want to be kind of crowding in the shoulders and creating tension in the neck. You're just using that prop as an extension of your arms. So as you see in this video, the individual is lying on their back. They have the one leg extended fully with the toes flexed. So they're energizing that straight leg into the floor. And then that strap is looped around the other leg. And the goal is to work on getting that supported leg straight. So for most of us, the knee is going to need to be bent when we start to notice some sensation there. And we just want to come to that comfortable edge and stay there and breathe for as long as you can, or at least a few minutes to start to allow those tissues in the hamstring to soften. So you're going to want to actively think about sending that lifted leg's hip towards the end of the mat or the floor or the wall or wherever you're practicing so that you're maintaining balance across the pelvis. And then again, we're just softening the breath into the back of that leg so the hamstring muscles can start to receive some relief. Over time, the longer you work on this, you're going to be able to eventually straighten the leg entirely. And then you may even be able to guide that leg a little bit closer towards your face on a bit of an angle. But as we're starting out, we want to just go nice and easy and gentle and soften those tissues in the back of the leg so we can give the low back some relief. Now, another great posture is a forward fold. So in this particular photo, these are modified versions of forward fold, and I want you to start here, especially if this is not a posture in your yoga practice, or you're saying, I don't even have a yoga practice, I just came here for low back pain tips. So this is what I want you to do. You're going to find something around your house that is going to act as a support for you. So you could even just start at the height of a kitchen island and you're standing away from that edge and just allowing yourself to come forward and be supported by that. Where it's going to kind of turn on for you, where you're going to notice, okay, now I'm accessing the hamstrings. I want you to feel into your feet. And when you start to shift your weight off your heels and you start to tip your weight forward towards the toes, you're going to feel the back of the legs start to turn on and those hamstring muscles firing. That's where you need to pause and continue with that slow, deep belly breath cycles in order to soften those dense tissues. When we tend to fold forward, and I see this a lot as well with students, is our bums drop backward, and that's the body's way of getting out of the stretch because we're no longer extending our spine to get into those tight tissues in the hamstring. So you really want to think about stacking your hips on top of your heels, that angle. If you have the option at home to try a forward fold with a mirror nearby, that's a great tool because it can kind of keep you honest to see where you are actually shifting your weight and where you can spend a little more time. So alternatively, once you kind of graduate from utilizing support and you feel that when you do fold forward with support, you're not getting as much sensation in the back of the legs, this is where I want you to explore a full forward fold, or uttanasana is what we would say in Sanskrit for yoga. But in order to respect the pose and make sure that the knees are not bending and we're kind of folding the belly on top of the legs, we want our bare hands to be supported. So whether or not that is on blocks or it's on the ground, you want that fold to almost feel like your tailbone and sitting bones are lifting up towards the ceiling and you're looking up towards your navel. That's kind of the uh, feeling in the body when you come forward like that. So I would experiment with these kind of couple variations of postures to soften the legs. If standing is not ideal for you in a forward fold because of blood pressure issues or whatever, you can perform the exact same forward fold in a seated position. So again, you would just stay seated, legs are stretched out in front of you, and you're coming forward. So instead of standing, you're sitting. It's the same option. So you're just choosing whatever works best for you. Practice this a couple times a week at first, maybe 3 times a week, just to see where you can come into some relief. And I think you're going to notice a huge difference on any tweaks and twinges in the low back. So that's it for me for today. If you need any specific support in your yoga practice or your health, please make sure to check out the links down below and you can look at working with me one-on-one or also check out any of my online courses. I also have free resources on the site to help support your health, so be sure to check there and subscribe at the end of the video for more free tips for your health. Until next time, see you later.